Hi guys, this is Mary. Welcome, coming in. I know usually at the end of a day here, at least on East Coast time, I don't tend to get a whole lot of viewers, so I'll welcome you in and especially welcome replay viewers. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of this website. It's called Fantasy Geopolitics, as you can see from the screen there. And I really think it has tremendous potential for something that any social studies teacher could use in the classroom. So I'm going to turn this around, introduce myself, and get right to it and show you how this works. It's called Fantasy Geopolitics. So quick little hi there. My name is Mary Howard. I am a 6th grade teacher and I teach social studies in ELA. So I think Fantasy Geopolitics might be really good for secondary teachers or even middle school teachers. And I'm going to share the website with you, but I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the general premise of the idea. If you are a fantasy football person or familiar with how fantasy football works, it works on kind of a draft system where a whole bunch of people get together and they might draft players to create kind of a dream team. And then as those players earn points or score things or get certain yardages and different types of things, the person that has selected that player, regardless of what team the player is on, they will earn points in their fantasy football league. So some brilliant person came up with the idea of doing fantasy geopolitics. So I'm going to give you an overview of how this works and how it doesn't have to cost anything. It looks like there's a subscription version, but I've come up with an idea of how you can use this without actually paying for a full subscription. So I'll turn it around, show you what I've got. Okay. So Fantasy Geopolitics starts with drafting countries. So the way I'm going to do this in my class is I'm actually going to group the students into teams, and we're going to hold a team draft. So I'll go closer in so you can see. So players actually take turns selecting the countries that they think will be the most active in the world news. And the way the points are tallied or calibrated all takes place within this Fantasy Geopolitics site. They do all the work. There's no tallying or anything that you have to do as a teacher. It all happens automatically. So step 1 would be to hold a draft. Then, step 2 is this very complicated scoring system that they have. Essentially, they collect data from the New York Times and something they're calling the Gedelt project, which as far as I can ascertain is of data points that they are gathering from about 20 different resources, and they're coming up with kind of an arbitrary scoring system for countries. So the amount of times they appear, but different things that happen with a country, whether it's a political upheaval, imports, exports, all sorts of different things they're using as their scoring system. So it's kind of, again, that's how the points are tallied. They're doing all the work. So I don't know how much detail I'll go into with my students, but they really do go into super deep detail. Let me focus you in more on the country, the number of times it was mentioned in the New York Times, and this Goldstein tone that they calibrate, this point system based on a very complicated system of points. Okay, so that's the scoring system. So kids pick countries, then they get points. Then the actual website is kind of neat in the sense that it does have a dashboard, and I know my kids respond really well to this type of thing. So it has a dashboard so you can see the top players. The way I'm going to set it up is it'll actually be the top teams. So it won't be assigned by player, it'll be assigned by group, and I'll have 5 kids per group. And then it shows the countries that appeared most frequently in the New York Times, as well as had the highest Goldstein tone to create this combined total of points. And then what's also kind of neat is you can trade countries. So if you see potential in the news for a country to perhaps move up the rankings, or you see something on the news, you could request a trade with another team. So they can, of course, reject the trade. Or there's also countries that haven't been drafted in the draft, and you can always request to pick a country up from the pool. So that's the trading countries aspect of it, and it does work on an iPad, a desktop, Chromebook, etc. So let me show you the dashboard because I've set mine up like this. I've just set mine up group 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I hosted a fake draft today. So the countries were just kind of drafted round robin. So you can see this was the draft that we held. And it does a great job of rotating the draft to make sure everybody has a fair turn in the draft. And I think it took 61 total turns for everybody to get drafted. But let me show you what else I like and how I think this can be used as a behavior management tool on top of it all. If we go over here to the, let me focus in for you, to the Manage Players section, you have the power as the commissioner of your league. I'll show you how I'm the commissioner of this league of 6 players. I have the power to kind of override or add extra points. And I think that's a way that this could be used as motivational for the students. As you see here, I can do score adjustments. So if teams are competing against each other as tables, I can see this being a really beneficial way of saying, okay, table 3 had a really great week, everybody turned in their homework, everybody's participating, I'm going to bump them and give them 10 extra points. So you do have kind of a score override, which I think is sort of a neat thing too. I can bump it up and give them extra points. So there's a lot more to this, but everything I've shown you, I actually didn't pay anything for access to the website. That when it gets pricey, when you want to change and add single individual students, if you upgrade your account to 100 students, go over here so you can see it, playing every month, that's when they start charging you. But the free tier so far has allowed me to build 5 different drafts for my classes with 6 members in each group. So I thought that was pretty good for just a free option. So if you're tuning in late and didn't notice, it's called Fantasy Geopolitics. The website is fantasygeopolitics.com. And it is a free website based on kind of that fantasy football premise. Turn this around. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much, replay viewers. Sorry I missed you, and I hope we can catch up soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.